Rotorheads with Nick, Sage, and Johnny. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This is episode 26. We don't have Nick today. He's busy at Disney World. He's on the Disney World. He told me before he left that if he didn't get Mickey Mouse's autograph, then he didn't know what he was going to do with himself. He was going to go just shoot autos like all day long until he cratered one. He was going to be real sad.
Rip Nick. But we are here with someone else.
Yes. We have Ade joining us from AccuRC. Ade has been a helicopter pilot since before Jonas and I could walk, and okay, I don't think he's quite that old, but Ade's been around a while. He's been flying helicopters for longer than either Jonas or I have. He's flown in competitions, and he is what? You're the marketing guy, right, Ade? You have input otherwise too, but that's
I'm multi-talented.
I'm
multi-talented.
You're a jack of all trades.
Yeah. If you email support at AccuRC, it will be me that you generally speak to first. I might try and palm it off onto Jonas at some point, but. Most of the time you'll be talking to me. If you order something, you'll be talking to me most of the time. Basically, just pretty much everything.
Nice.
And of course keeping you guys in line.
Well, of course.
Yeah, you're the one always rambling on about what we should do.
Number one babysitter.
Oh yes, definitely. I was definitely babysitter.
The important part was the rambling. Because you can do that a lot.
I try to. I've had a few years practice, so.
Well, cool. Well, Ade, what we normally do is we get into kind of what we've been doing lately in the RC world, and I think Jonas has something that he was going to talk about. So, Jonas, what did you do last week?
Last week, I didn't do much, but I just did something today.
Today?
I have a friend who had some, ultra old... Oh my god, what was it? E-Sky Belt CP.
I had one of those.
Flybarred, wooden rotor blades, two gears out of the main... two teeth out of the main gear missing. It is quite something. And he asked me, hey, can we go flying? And I was like, well, yes, why not? Let's try this.
That thing can't.
They weren't that bad. You just had to be able to fly, that's all. The kids these days is completely spoiled.
Let's try to get this abomination of a helicopter into the air. And it literally was the worst thing I've ever flown.
You guys got it flying, though?
Yes, it actually is it doesn't even have throttle hold. It only has normal mode and idle up.
Wait.
You switch it on with the collective all the way down in normal mode. It's quite terrible.
So it has its own special receiver. Is that what the deal is with it? Why you can't change it?
Yeah,
it's got its own.
It's an E-Sky transmitter. E-Sky transmitter with an E-Sky receiver.
Okay.
And it has a switch for heading hold versus rate mode. It has a dial for the gyro sensitivity, and it has another dial which I have not figured out what it does. Probably Expo.
I would suspect it's probably actually hover pitch.
Yeah, it was hover pitch, right?
Yeah. Did you just say what's hover pitch? Yeah, see, you're just showing your age. Or maybe I'm showing mine. One of the two.
And, well, long story short, we got it flying. It was abysmal. I flew it first, and then I handed him the transmitter, and always like I stood next to him and kept my fingers on the base of the sticks. It was quite awkward, but it worked. Like pretty cheap buddy boxing.
Yeah, sure.
Just with one transmitter.
Yeah.
And then I was
told
like,
you, me and my dad played pass the transmitter when he was trying to learn how to fly helicopters.
Just that we
you
had
passed the transmitter on. Oh my god. Yeah. I mean, we used to do that with gliders and stuff like that, and you know, but no.
I mean, we didn't pass the transmitter. We just had 4 hands on one transmitter.
Yeah.
Oh, you were cuddle boxing. We call that cuddle boxing.
Pretty much, yeah. And like I had my 450 out as well, so after the first flight with that thing, I said, dude, just fly my helicopter. It's so much better. And wouldn't you know it, after like 1 or 2 minutes with my helicopters, he could hover on its own. I was like I had my fingers next to the sticks, but I hadn't to do anything, really. He could hover. And he hasn't... Yeah, he has never really flown before. He just tried to fly that belt CP thing a couple times, and I have once taught him to hover back in 2014 with a Blade 130, but he had no other flying experience before that. And well, he hovered 10 minutes per battery actually on his own, took off and landed after just 1 battery.
Wow. Good job.
And that was totally impressive. And best thing is, he says he wants to look further into it, and I just said, yeah, buy a little blade, buy some DX6 radio, and get going with that one.
Yeah.
And of course, buy a sim. Yeah, I let him...
Right, a sim?
Yeah, I'll make sure he buys AccuRC, but I let him fly AccuRC actually. And he did loops and flips and attempted nose in hover.
Wow,
that's pretty decent.
Right after
that's fun.
When I used to teach, I used to find that the people that had never flown were actually easier to teach than people that had flown fixed wing.
I can see that. You just get different habits.
Yeah. There's a. I mean, I came from fixed wing originally, and so I learnt nose in by doing figure of eights and then slowing the figure of 8 down as it's coming towards me.
Sure.
But when you haven't got those sort of pre-learnt sort of stick movements in there, it's almost easier to teach them from scratch sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely my experience. But yeah, that's it for me. I think might soon have a new pilot in a hobby, and we all will be happy. Just not because winter is coming, and that's gonna suck for him. But oh well. So Ade, what have you done in the last? I'll just say like 5 years.
5 years? Oh, you want really? Oh, that's going to be really hard to keep it down to 5 years, you know. So let's see. Let's hang on. I'm just going to rewind that a little bit. And I started flying slope soarers in West Sussex, in the south coast of the UK, and at the young age of 12. And because I mean, slope soaring's nice and cheap and easy, and you know, and there was a good group of people flying down there as well. There'd be you very rarely go to one of the slopes down there and see less than 7 or 8 people there.
Aren't there only like 3 slopes in all of England? It's pretty flat over there, isn't it?
That was like the Netherlands.
Compared to some parts of the States, yes, it is quite flat. We do have Snowdon in Wales, that's quite high, but
oh right.
I mean, the nice thing about where I used to live is that we have a thing called the South Downs, which was a bunch of chalk hills somewhere between 300 and 1,000 feet tall, top to bottom, maybe
cool.
800 actually.
You probably get actually really good thermals out of that.
Really good slope lift, yeah. Thermal's a different thing, but it's a good laugh. You know, get a bit of wind blowing up a hill, and you can fly all day off of a 4-cell NICAD. You know. You can. I mean, when I go slope soaring, we generally only go for a couple of hours because you fly all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes you might just cruise around, other times you might be chasing somebody else trying to knock them out of the sky with your combat model and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's good
That
fun.
sounds
So
fun.
I've been getting back into slope soaring a little bit more recently because my little boy, he's 12. So he's the same age as I was when I first started flying. Got him a thing called an SAS Wild thing, and a nice little Futaba DX, not DX. What am I talking about? 6EX, 2.4 obviously, and so we've been going flying together, which is good fun. It's great, sort of seeing him sort of not playing on his Xbox.
Yeah.
And he does seem to genuinely enjoy it as well. Got a couple of local quad pilots flying slope as well, which is even better. So sort of the slopes down here tend to be fairly quiet. For some
Slope
reason.
flying with a quad. You gotta explain that to me.
Well, no, I mean, I said a couple of quad pilots getting wings.
Oh. Whoops.
Yeah, slope soaring with quads does not work. Well, I mean,
But-
it works, but you still just use it.
But you can do it with helis.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I actually apparently the guy, that there was a video on YouTube yonks ago of a guy, was it a Kyosho Concept or Nexus or something like that, slope soaring one of those. I actually know the guy that helped put that model together and get it so it would be slopeable.
Huh.
He's actually one of the guys that flies down here.
Yeah, there are actually a couple of videos. One of a Logo 600 SE, one of a T-Rex 600. It's quite cool that actually works, because I mean that's basically infinite auto rotation practice.
Well,
Until
yeah,
you fuck
I
up
was-
and fall out of the sky.
I was gonna say I saw one time where they had pulled the flight packs and motor out of the helicopter and were only using a receiver pack to run the flybarless and the servos and stuff, and they were slope soaring it with literally no main power. One guy would hold the skids and hold the helicopter above his head out on the slope till they got their initial head speed to take off, and then they just kept
Yeah, I think
slope-
that was the T-Rex 600.
Was that what that was? It was freaking cool.
I think
Looked dangerous
it was
as hell, but
flybarred.
it was cool.
No, it is awesome. I mean, it's the reason they take all the actually is to get the weight down. So, damn it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
To get the weight down, so then you sort of, because all you're effectively doing with slope soaring is you're walking down an upgoing escalator. So when you're auto rotating with your helicopter, you're going down through the air, and if the air is going up from the slope lift, if the air is going up quicker than you're going down, then you gain height.
Yeah,
And then
it's
you're
pretty amazing. It's pretty cool.
soaring.
Yep, it's great. I mean, it's free. It is free. It's
Yeah.
literally all, and the models, because they're so simple, they don't really go wrong. I mean, like I've got you put reasonable servos in it. I mean, and when I say reasonable, you're talking like 10 quid, not 3 quid.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a nickel metal hydride 4-cell and a receiver, and that is it. That's all that's in them. It's simple. There's nothing to go wrong, which is one of the nice things about them.
Huh.
And the EPP ones, you can combat them. You crash into each other and try and knock each other out of the sky. It's amazing fun.
Well, I'm surrounded by mountains on 4 sides, so I think that maybe it's something I could look into,
Yeah,
because
do
it
it,
does
'cause
sound
it's-
kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of these people that I fly. I like to fly. I've flown most things and got passionate about most things during my career in flying.
Sure.
And apart from scale, and it's just I found out that I actually enjoy all of it, and I try and do as many different things as possible because they're all cool in their own different ways.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I'm thinking about getting a little foam airplane this year, but I'm not sure if it'll happen.
If you're going to do it, I think probably one of the FPV ones is probably where the fun's at. If you've got FPV gear already, then it's the wings. A few of the guys down here have got FPV wings, and it looks awesome. I'm in the middle of building one up at the moment, and because it's just a good laugh and following each other around, and it's just But that's fixed wing anyway, so we shouldn't be talking about that. Aren't we supposed to talk about helicopters and stuff?
We talk RC.
So
If it flies,
anyway,
it's fine.
after that, 8 minutes of rambling? Yeah, so now I'm flying. I've got a Synergy E7 upstairs, which gets flown occasionally when I've got some batteries that I haven't blown up.
You
Did
sound
that
like
twice.
me.
Yeah. And I've got a little T-Rex 500, which is currently lacking a flybarless because it's sat in the Synergy. And I've got a nice little. If you'd ever been to Sandown in the UK, you in the sort of early 2000s, you probably would have seen Bob Johnson flying a Nova Quattro turbine. I managed to get my hands on one a few years back for an incredibly stupid price. And the thing is, it's just, I mean, it's a one crash wonder because it's based on rubby parts. You can't get any bits for them as far as I'm aware.
Oh,
So
yeah.
even if I just chipped a tail, a crown gear on it or something like that, it would be on the ground. And similar sort of thing with the jet. It's old. You can't get any bits for them anymore. If I broke if I broke anything in it, pretty much it would be scrap. So it's flown, maybe once every couple of months for a couple of flights, just to sort of get the cobwebs out of it.
Yeah.
After I obviously rebuilt the airframe from pretty much from the ground up, made sure everything was okay, and changed all the dampers and all that sort of stuff, and brought it a little bit more into the current century. Sort of put a 2.4 in it for starters, and a slightly more modern gyro than the 401 it had. And it's just such it weighs. It weighs about a little bit more than a sort of like an 800 electric. I think it's about 8 kilos with fuel on.
Uh-huh.
But it's got 1.5 kilos of fuel on it at that point. So when you drop all the fuel out of it, it becomes a lot lighter. But the throttle response obviously isn't there. So you've got to be a little bit more gentle on the collective than you do with an electric. You've got to kind of come off it and on it gently.
Yeah.
But yeah, it makes a beautiful noise. Absolutely gorgeous noise.
I love turbines.
Oh yes. But so there's that I've got floating around upstairs. I've got 3 or 4 slate wings, various other things that are in various states of disrepair, having all the gear robbed out of them, and I've still got my old thing called a Park Amber FU2, which is a fun fly model, which is really only good for loops and rolls and flat spins. I've got a RC boat upstairs as well, RC sailing boat upstairs, in my man cave.
Does that boat have a name?
No.
I want you to name it Boaty McBoatface.
And of course I've got a little Thug 220 V5. Originally was a low rider, but discovered that low riders are a pain in the arse because there's no space in them. That's a 220 quad, which is loads of fun. They're like the foamies of RC flying. They fly very much like a helicopter. But obviously got the FPV stuff in there, which is great fun for flying around and through things and chasing other people around the sky, and it's awesome fun, great fun. And they're relatively cheap as well when you can put one together for a few £100, and sorry, that's pounds for the Americans. I get that quite a lot. And if you go out and fly, you might break a few props and occasionally something a bit more, but each component is only £20 or so. So worst case scenario, if you break something, most of the time you only break props, which are £2 a set, and you don't change them in sets. You only change the ones that are broken, and most of the time you bend them back straight and they fly fine. It's like the complete opposite of helicopters. There's zero paranoia about making sure everything works before taking off. I mean, obviously, other than the standard pre-flight checks that everybody always does, obviously. But it's sort of they were a good laugh. But I try and fly the heli occasionally. I'm a bit rusty at the moment, actually. I realised earlier on this afternoon. I'm like, maybe I should do a bit more flying before we go do this tonight. I've forgotten. I've been spending so much time doing support. That's the trouble, you see.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's pretty much what I've been doing. Bit of slope soaring, bit of heli flying, bit of quadding.
Bit of everything. Man, that's
Bit
great.
of everything, really. Yeah, and engaging VTech occasionally as well, apparently. Sorry. I know you promised to kill me if I said anything about VTech, so I kind of had to.
VTech!
No, I didn't say I'd kill you. I
Yo.
said I was going to turn off the whole damn internet.
Yeah. Oh, Trump's been trying to do it. Oh, sorry, got political.
Sage, you got a new helicopter. Do tell us about it, please, before this ends in VTech!
Well, my NX4 came. It came yesterday, and I just need to do at this point. Just need to do the flybarless setup, and I'm ready to give it a maiden. Went through it yesterday, got it mostly put together. Yeah, I got the wiring done. Like I was doing soldering like 3 minutes before I was supposed to be on the server today talking to you guys. So yeah, everything. So yeah, I just literally it's just this setup now. Find the radio, and I need to go through and I've got to run 2 wires from the front of the helicopter to the back of the helicopter to do my single line RC input for the 3-digi, and then another line lets me do the integration, so I can do all the tuning and setup and stuff from my transmitter. Yay!
Hooray!
You can do that with McGregor's, can you? I didn't know you could do that. Remote
Yep.
tunes and stuff.
With Gropner can do it with 3-digi, Brain 2, and Spirit. I think. Don't quote me on that with Spirit. I don't have any of the Spirit flybarless systems, but I think that they do the Gropner integration as well. The Brain one is the one I like the best so far. It's just it's the most organized. It makes the most sense as far as what options exactly do what, and like implementation. The 3-digi works just fine though. Like the thing is, like with the Brain, I can do a full setup of a Brain from almost from nothing. You have to plug in to tell it what type of receiver you're going to use. But other than that, plugging it into the computer, you got to do transmitter setup and receiver setup on the computer. Other than that, I can do the entire setup on my transmitter.
Okay.
Which
yeah, I'm
I
still
like a
finding the old Vortex, the old Spartan RC Vortex.
One eternity later.
we've moved off target a little bit.
Yeah.
I think we
Oh
can
yes,
say
your NX4.
yes. That's fine. That's fine. It's all good. Because I don't have a whole lot more to say about it. Because like I said, I haven't made it yet or anything. I'll have a lot more to say about it next week probably, when I can talk about actually having flown it a little bit. Because there wasn't really much new to this at all. Header tank. I don't have a header tank on my other Nitro, so it was a little bit different plumbing it. But I just took a look at it and went, oh, that's easy. That goes to there, that's done. Bam, it's all plumb now. So yeah. I thought it might be a little bit of a challenge to think it through, but it really wasn't at all. I was just disappointed, kind of. But
Is this your first Nitro or second Nitro? I can't
no,
remember.
this would be my second Nitro.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got a Compass 7HV that has been converted to Nitro.
Ah.
I like that helicopter so much. It's all but killed electric flying for me. At least it did this year. Next year I flew the EXO this year, and I have a Kronos that needs a lot of love because it got none this year at all.
Oh.
It was all
Rip Kronos.
all Nitro, no electric.
That's the thing. If you got somewhere to fly it, then I think Nitro, in some ways, wins out for me because I used to love doing autos. I'd go and do tanks of autos sometimes.
Oh yeah. I do that when I go out to our club field because we have a nice big cloth runway that's really easy to hit, and so I'll just do full tanks of autos. The place where I do more of my like rogue flying, I don't have as much space, so I don't tend to do. I have like flying space, but I don't have as much good landing space, so I don't tend to do many autos.
auto's good fun. I like that.
Yeah.
Always used to go and
Best
do a
stuff
few at the
ever.
end of the flight. Yeah, Jonas, you're a bit of an auto king, aren't you?
Yes, he is the
Sometimes.
he's the auto man around here.
Yeah.
But I enjoy
Autos are
him a
like the
lot.
best thing ever.
But that pretty much does it for my week. There's a little bit of news this week, but not too much. SAB, I don't think it's any surprise to anybody, but the Fireball competition is out. So that's
Hooray! Another canopy color.
Yeah, it's
behind 2 canopies for accuracy.
Well, you get the fiberglass canopy in a new color, red and black, right?
Yep.
And then you get the aluminum pitch arms and aluminum tail pitch arm. So it comes with a couple of the upgrade parts and then the fiberglass canopy. See, I still haven't gotten good numbers on how much weight the fiberglass stuff actually saves.
Does it save weight? I would have thought it would be heavier than the plastic bits.
Nope, it's supposed to be lighter.
Okay.
Think
The boom for
20
sure is supposed to be
20
lighter.
grams. Think 20 grams is what I've heard. I'm not sure.
See, and I don't know.
Maybe
if that's worth
15.
it, in my opinion. For
Nah, not on a 1 kilogram 280.
yeah, still a cool little helicopter. Like I said, it changed my mind a lot to see one flown in real life. But yeah, I can't see myself owning one.
Oh, I have news.
You have news.
Some new Oblivion parts will be released by when you're watching this.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we are as we are recording, Chris is finishing up the dampened rotor head and the way lighter and more easy to set up tail.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So that's gonna be out soon. We have more stuff coming. I'm not gonna tell you too much, but you can expect more printed parts to be redone. And yeah, the dampened rotor head in combination with a 280mm stretch is like the best thing that ever happened to that helicopter.
Oh, cool.
It's just so precise, so crisp, no vibrations at all anymore. Because like before that, we had a completely rigid head, and that was like vibration nightmare. But now it's butter smooth.
Cool.
So yeah, we're looking forward to releasing that. And also there are a couple new 280 blades, like one. Because BK started shipping the first batch of Switch 283.
Yeah, you got in on that, didn't you?
Yeah, thanks to my buddy Kyle, we the Oblivion crew got 3 sets of 283s. He gave me a good deal on shipping.
Nice.
So I think we are one of the first people to have them because it wasn't really announced anywhere that they're shipping now, and I think they only have very limited quantity because Funky is slow in production.
Wait. So are you telling me that last week when you smashed your Oblivion, you smashed one of these brand new sets of blades?
No, that was before that.
Oh,
I smashed some SAB 280s.
Oh, okay.
I would have cried if that happened.
Yeah, I was gonna say my phone didn't ooze any tears out of the messenger. So
No.
I didn't think that.
No, they just came in like yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. Like 2 days or 3 days express shipping via DHL.
Oh, that's cool.
It's fucking amazing. Yeah.
What?
And I still don't have a helicopter for them to fly because I'm still lacking a tail boom because I gave all my tail booms away to people who needed them, and well, now I'm without.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I've ordered some new tail boom stuff. We just use a 12mm carbon tube and gonna fly them next week and see what they are all about. They're a bit lighter than SAB blades, CG a bit further in, so I expect more agility. Also 13% thick instead of the usual NACA 0014, so I expect less drag. So we shall see. Maybe I will report it next week. Maybe I will not because something else is not ready.
Yeah,
But
well, hopefully you get there. I have one more little bit of blade news, and this one is just something that I noticed today. And RotorTech, the new style 86mm blades are available at A-Main. So
Ooh, sweet.
for the longest time, they had all of the other new styles, except for they had the old 85s, And I saw them today, so I'm gonna pick some up for the NX4 and the EXO.
Cool.
So just so I have some on hand. I thought I had some of those DH 86 or 85 blades left, but I must have smashed them all because I can't find
Sad
them.
life.
Yeah.
Okay, so was that it for news?
I think that's it for news. So
Because we were gonna talk about something today, which is a thing that we all three are involved with. That's funny, we're almost the entire development team, except for Zane, who's I think he's just having his head stuck in the 516 currently.
yep, trying to get that
Figuring
flying
out
for
the rigging.
everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a good little model. That.
So yeah, today we want to talk about AccuRC, the sim we are using for our visualization, the sim we're all working on, and the sim we are trying to make the greatest product on the market. Hooray.
I think that pretty much sums it up.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
So,
We'll see you next time.
Nothing else to say.
man.
No, well,
Maybe we should probably start with what is AccuRC. Because AccuRC is not your ordinary normal sim. Because AccuRC does a lot of stuff other sims either do differently or don't do at all. So Ade, I think you have a bit more insight on it. What was the main goal for the creation of AccuRC
Well, it's pretty much
back
in
in
the
the
name.
days?
It's pretty much in the name, isn't it? Really, it's to be the most accurate flying simulator there is, and certainly on the helicopters, I think most of our customers and me agree with that. And there's everything else. You kind of you can find little niggles and stuff in the way things fly, and if those are in your flying style, then it gets really annoying. I've been there with other sims that that you can feel it sometimes, and it's just everything flies, but the more accurate it is, the quicker the transfer from the simulator to the real thing is going to be. And at the end of the day, it's a simulator, and the more accurate it is, that's there's no point in having. When I learned in the days of FMS, and the transfer from doing it on the simulator to doing it for real was very difficult.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just got to be accurate. If it's not accurate, what's the point?
Okay, so I'm gonna load into the workshop here real quick, and I will cut out the loading time so you guys don't have to sit through that. Okay, so we are here in what we call the workbench, the workshop area of the sim, and this is pretty much where you set up your model. So you have a full 360-degree free look at the model. You can zoom in, pan around, look at every little part that's moving around. You can take off the canopy by hitting C and getting a close look at these flip normals on the servo arms. I should probably correct that. And yeah, this is basically where you set up your models. And the nice thing about this is we did an episode about how to set up a real flight model to match your flying style, like back in episode 8 or something. The nice thing is you don't have to wrap your head around countless parameters in AccuRC. If you fly a certain brand of blade in real life, chances are we have them in the sim. You just right click the blades, click change, and here you have the entire list of blades that we have available. And it's a whole lot. So if I don't want to fly VTX on my model, but I want to fly what's reasonable, Edge 713 SE, I just click the edge blades, it loads them, switches out all the parameters, loads different airfoil, different weight CG, chords, hit apply, boom, you got the flying behavior of edge blades on your heli.
So you're telling
It's as easy as that.
You're telling me that all the blades, they're actually like they fly differently then?
Yep, we have different parameter sets for every blade for chord, CG, and weight. And also we have a set of 12 different airfoils for all the blades we have. Like, you gotta understand, most blades on the market just use the NACA 0014 airfoil. So that's consistent across like 60-70% of all blades. Then we have a special foil for VTX that stalls later. We have a special foil for Thunderbolts that models their pitch, their collective behavior, because that's a bit weird. We have a different airfoil for Cyclone blades as they fly a bit different. You gotta run them at high head speed, low pitch, because they stall earlier. We have a different airfoil for, what do I know? We have different airfoils for all kind of things with different stalling behaviors, power consumption, drag curves, auto rotation behavior. It's really an amazing thing to have.
So I've got this battery indicator over here on the side. You're actually telling me that the blades I choose are gonna change the power consumption of my model? And
yep.
So
we have, like, all blades have, like, they produce different drag values. Some are gonna be a bit more draggy. For example, Zeal blades are not gonna be as efficient as HSE or something like that. It's just tiny little things, but you're gonna notice them if you fly them. For example, blade stall. If you pull full collective, full cyclic with VTX blades, they're gonna pull it through. Your motor is gonna bog, the heli's gonna suffer, but they're gonna pull it through without stalling. If you do the same thing with Edge, you notice it's stalling, stuttering, getting slower, you're losing a bit of control. Just like in real life.
Oh, that's pretty impressive.
And and the whole simulator's like that as well. It's all about real world values. I mean, you look at the flybarless config. You know, you're not messing around with weird and wonderful attributes that that are just aren't realistic. You're playing. You know, when you if you want to make the model roll and flip faster, you turn up the agility. You know, if you want to add some expo, you add some expo. If you want to change how much gain there is, you change how much gain there is. And because the code is all there, the code that's in it is a flybarless gyro. So, and it's getting all the inputs that a normal flybarless gyro would get. And it's producing all of the normal outputs that a normal flybarless gyro would get, which then would get sent to the servos and change the pitch angle of the blade and give you the response. So the control system is very similar to what you're using in one of your flybarless gyros.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting to next, because one thing Ash from the old development team told me was that they actually had their flybarless code flying in real life. Oh, look, we have someone join our session.
We've got a guest, another guest.
And that upset my sim because it's now loading his model. Oh, we're back. Okay, so you guys could say something to him in chat. That would be funny. Wait, I'm just gonna type in, "Hi, you're live on Rotorheads. Wanna say something?" It kicked me out. Okay, so we have I heard that the code from this flybarless was actually flying in a real world model, so there's that. It is actually capable of flying a real model, and you have like cyclic agility, stick exponential, all these things you will find in real life applications. You can just change them to your liking, and if you have questions about anything, you can just hover over it and it will give you a quick pop-up that tells you how, wow, dude seems to be German, that tells you how the parameter operates, so you can also change your collective throws, all that kind of beautiful stuff. Also tail setup, change the response to your liking, how crisp it is, all that kind of stuff. You can limit the tail throws, play around with a weaker tail setup, an artificially weakened tail setup. And the key thing here is that we actually simulate the entire control system of the helicopter from the servos to the swash plate and also to the blade grips. So when I move my stick here, you will see that the servo arm moves, the linkages move, the wash moves, and the blades move. And that also works throughout the rotation. So if I set it, wow, bumped my mic. Sorry. So if I set it to rotating, you will see that we have a continuous cyclic motion on the blade. So it's quite beautiful to visualize what happens on your model if you give control inputs, and also that's what flies our models. That is why every single one of our models flies differently. You gotta understand, a heli flies mainly, except for the blades, the second instance of how it flies is really your control geometry. If that's crap, your heli is not going to fly well, no matter the fly release you put in it. If your control geometry is crap, it's going to fly bad. So by simulating the entire geometry of the rotor head and the servo linkages, we get the exact feeling of the models, because you get all the imperfections that it's getting in real life as well, and that transfers directly to how it flies. For example, if you have like push-pull linkages or that kind of stuff, it's gonna accurately simulate like the torque loss on the servo through long bell cranks, for example. We simulate servo torque and servo speed, and that's obviously going to translate to how far the swash can move. And like on the Rave ENV, for example, you have a push-pull system that gives you really short servo throws for a lot of cyclic deflection. So you will notice that decrease in torque, but that increase in speed. So if I wiggle the collective here, you can see it moves really quickly, but that's obviously going to cost you torque. And the beauty is we model all that, and you can feel it.
And then, of course, going up through the swash plate, because we know what the flow angles and speeds are across the blade, it then gives us actual real-world figures to be able to feed into the physics engine, which isn't Unity, by the way.
No.
Yeah, it's not Unity. We have a Unity just does our rendering and our user interface. We have a extra physics plugin, so if anyone tells you AccuRC is bad because the physics are Unity, that's not true. We have our complete own separate physics engine.
And
every day school day.
Sorry, carry on.
All I was going to say is, even if we use the Unity physics engine, it's all written in C++. You can code the Unity physics engine to be as complex or leave it as box stock as you would want it to be. So,
today element.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You could if we were starting this project from scratch, you could build the flight physics engine in Unity, but since it was built outside of Unity and ported into it, it's just nice that Unity has the ability to plug our flight engine right in. But yes, it does not use stock Unity physics whatsoever.
That's correct.
So to give you sort of an idea of the numbers that we're talking about, that we know at 10 points around the rotor blade, 10 points down the rotor blade along its span, and at 4 points around the revolution, what the angle of attack and the speed of the flow is over that rotor blade. There's a lot of processing going on to make this thing realistic.
Yep, and I don't want to reveal exactly how we do it, but just know the sim knows angle of attack and airflow speed and all that kind of stuff. Also, air density goes into it, temperature obviously as well, because that affects air density. Then it plugs that all into something that takes the airfoil into account and gives you force vectors for all these points, and that flies your model. And that is really the beauty, because it just works. I have yet to hear someone who says it flies unrealistic.
And it does that without requiring a supercomputer as well.
Yeah.
Which is what the thing that I found really impressive is that over the years, because I've been using Accu since right around 1.6, I want to say, is when I came on board, and the amount of PC that it requires to run well has constantly dropped. It's gotten a lot more efficient.
Yep.
Accu runs on a way wider range of hardware than it used to.
That goes so far that I have friends who run it on a laptop without any issues. They may have to reduce graphics a bit, but it's absolutely flyable.
It's,
With
it's to
all
the
the
point now
amazing
that it's the
physics.
graphics card that's the limit of
Yeah.
most of the time. You know, when I get support tickets for people who may or may not have been having issues, it's generally down to them trying to extract too much graphics out of the machine.
Sure.
You know, the CPU's more than capable of running it. It's the graphics cards that are still the limit, and that's the same with any 3D rendering game simulator out there. You know, you can't run it on a £200 laptop.
Yeah. So, what are some of the things that we can look forward to? Oh, wait. Sorry. I have a question first that one of you may be able to answer. Jonas, I will start with you.
Huh.
I don't know why, but because you mentioned that air density and temperature and stuff is all taken into account in the secret sauce formula.
Yep.
Do the different flying fields have different temperatures and densities assigned to them, or is it globally assigned?
I think it's global.
Okay.
Because all we're doing with flying fields is swap out the mesh and the panorama. But you can just change it by clicking the little weather icon on the left, and you can go like from 700 millibar to 1200, and it really makes a huge difference. So if you want maximum realism, you can just look up the air density in the region you're flying. For example, if you're flying like on a mountain at 5,000 meters up, you're obviously gonna want to reduce the air density so things fly right.
I need to do that.
So yeah, we are giving you a really wide range of stuff to fiddle with.
That's a today I learned because I was going to ask Zane if we could do that, and it's already there. So I need to check that out.
It's been there since like 1.0.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Rip you.
I did not know that.
The ground interference stuff is different on different fields as well. So if you're flying on grass, you get it's more squidgy and rough and has undulations, and that's more drag obviously than the cement that the tarmac we're running off at Venlo here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's good. You can do the nice slidey autos on the tarmac.
Oh, yes, without wearing your skids out.
Yeah. Cost of doing business.
Oh yeah. I think I went through maybe 5 or 6 sets of undercarriages on my Raptor 90 doing sliding autos down at Bewley.
Nice.
Which we have in the sim
Great.
actually. We have that scenery on here.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we've been flying the Venlo one a lot lately.
Yeah.
It's a
Venlo's
really
great.
nice bright scene.
Yeah.
Okay, so but back to my question then now. What's one thing each from you guys that you're really looking forward to in the future of AccuRC?
That is a good question.
There's so many things.
I know there's a lot of stuff in
Wow.
the works, but if you had to pick something.
Obviously more models.
Yeah.
Models are always the greatest thing about a sim. If you get new models, it's like Christmas.
Yeah, it kind of is. I agree with that. I always like doing new models.
I love playing with new stuff. It's just so much fun, and people love it too. Like, you always see a increase in the active user statistics when we release new stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that's fun.
So that's kind of cool. Oh, I am, and this is like an exclusive announcement, I think. I'm working on a new workbench because this one is a bit dated with the mossy bricks and the overhead lights and the underground cave style.
That's what I was getting at.
Oh, really? That was like that just randomly popped into my mind. Like, oh, I could talk about that.
Well, I'm glad.
Yeah. I am redoing the workbench currently, and I am building us a hobby room, an actual workbench with tools and like stuff laying around, heli parts, the heli sitting on a workbench, you being in a room that does not look like an underground secret stuff cave.
Like the Bat Cave.
Yeah, I always found our workbench weird, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
No, I think that's cool.
I'm glad we're doing
That's
that.
where the old Des
And you
used to
will-
live, you see. where he used to lock them up. It's the only thing they knew how to model, so yeah.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing that in the sim.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
It's gonna be bright and friendly, and
I'm looking forward to texturing.
oh man,
it's gonna be a lot of fun.
I should really finish that.
Yeah, it's okay. I got plenty of work.
Maybe
Plenty of work to do.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I mean, obviously, we are gonna add more components in the future. Sage.
Yep, I've got a huge list.
yeah, I mean, there's.
Oh, and what I'm also.
I mean, Jonas, just run. I'm just in case some of the guys that are listening or watching aren't following us on the social media stuff or the forums. Just run through the models that we've got coming in the next, before Christmas.
We have coming next a Synergy 516, the all-new Synergy release from Matt Bodos. We have coming a Protos Nitro, the all-new Protos because Nitro rocks. We have coming a Synergy 766 as a completely free update.
Oh, is it free?
It is completely free of charge, 100%. We are not gonna charge you any money for this new helicopter.
Definitely not $100. No,
What a meme.
That needs to be done. That needs to be done.
I'm sorry. It's kind of a meme for us. We have coming a Protos 380, depending on when Sage gets to it. We have coming a Takumi 700.
At some point.
The full monocoque 700 thingy with the cool motor layout. We may have coming... Nah, I'm not gonna tease that. That's too cool to tease. So, yeah, that's the model list for, like, the next 1 or 2 releases. And we're constantly looking into more. I'm sometimes working on a Goblin 700 Cal Stacy edition as well. Tri-blade. We can simulate tri-blade in AccuRC. So that's gonna be fun. Just gotta get the rotor head done and stuff. And, well, it's a lot of work. And I am busy with other stuff mostly. Sim-related as well. So we will see when that one's in. And it's gonna be great because it's tri-blade and everyone loves tri-blade. Maybe not for the flying aspect, but for the looks.
Yep.
Oh no, I love the one the 3-blade Goblin I flew was amazing.
Huh.
Wow, I hated the one I flew.
See that we come back to that whole preference thing.
The cyclic power is just you don't hit the model, just doesn't load under cyclic at all. It's just incredible.
But collective sucks and it's heavy. But oh well, that's not our discussion right now.
So and then also. I'd say that people can at some point look forward to an NX4. Now that I've got one. That I've got one.
Oh yeah, right. The Raptor E700. Why did you even send me that model?
Yeah, so you can model it. Speaking of, Mister.
And of course there's the Mac build, which is pretty. Zane's just sort of crossing off some I's and dotting some T's on the Mac build.
Crossing them I's and dotting them T's, huh?
Yeah, and crossing some fingers as well, I think. On the beta for Mac, which we will hopefully be releasing in the next week, I would hope, maybe.
That's great.
Hopefully. So that'll be out on beta soon. It's going to be private beta to start with. If you want to be involved in that private beta, then drop us an email.
There's a pretty good crew of guys that I know that are looking forward to a Mac build.
Yeah. Then we've got what else we got coming off completely.
I know. So admittedly, our fixed wing simulation is not too great. It's lacking some stuff to make it fly right. So I actually contacted a friend of mine who works at NASA. His name is Anthony. He's great. We also did some crazy stuff for real flight back in the day. If you've flown the Stingray on there, that was our work. And he's a really smart guy. And I mean, if he works at NASA, he can figure out some airplane code for us. So We
I like your logic on
kind
that.
of got him on the project, and he's now in charge of our airplanes.
Cool.
And it will be interesting to see what he comes up with.
And the quads are going to be
So
getting
that
some
will-
love too, aren't they? And
Yeah, quads.
and we've got
Oh.
I think 5 or 6 quads waiting to be built as well.
Oh, wow.
Ade, you should really learn modeling.
I've got too much other stuff to be doing at the moment. Both accuracy
Same
and
for me.
accuracy and non-accuracy related stuff. But yeah, it's VTech.
Yo.
Yeah,
You forgot
so
the
it's-
yo.
Yeah, it's we've got some. What was it? Chameleon, I think we've got in there. The Amatin Chameleon, that is, and a few other different ones as well to go in. All branded ones that we just like a lot of our models. They're based off of very closely off of the CAD that are supplied to us very kindly by the manufacturers. So they're very accurate.
Oh yeah, right. So if there's any helicopter you want to see in AccuRC, but we haven't gotten in yet, contact us, and if we tell you that the manufacturer is not very cooperative in terms of CAD files, feel free to bug them a little with it.
Yep. Sometimes that helps a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, if they realize it's gonna be a great advertisement and like selling point for their models, they usually tend to be more cooperative. Like SAB, I basically got the entire Goblin lineup in CAD on my hard drive. Don't
Yeah,
ever
they
think
get
about
the-
breaking into my house, please, because of that. But yeah, SAB is just lovely. They're so cooperative. They send us anything we ask for.
SAB,
because it's just-
MSH, Compass, those are the companies that really help us out a lot.
Yeah.
They send us CAD without,
And Synergy.
Synergy. Yep, Synergy has just kind of jumped into the family. They started sending us CAD. Yeah, this is great.
Mhm.
It's been pretty great. We've got some good companies that really, I think it helps everybody. It helps them with some advertising, but I mean it helps the modelers, and we're all modelers. At the end of the day, I can't think off the top of my head, at least that of the ones that I've dealt with. There's people in those companies that are modelers. You know what I mean? They know what's important to people. So I think it's great.
You know what I just realized? With other sims, people usually say, "Hey, don't fly your exact model in the sim. Fly something that suits you." I just realized in accuracy you should actually fly your model because it's gonna fly like your model
Yeah.
because of geometry and stuff.
Yep, I
That's
would agree.
funny.
This
Yeah.
AccuRC is to the point where I actually, if someone is thinking about a model, I recommend checking, and they have AccuRC. I say, have you flown it in there, because it's probably pretty close.
Yeah.
Yep.
But if it's different, it'll only be things like cyclic rates and expo.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah, just adjust stuff and it's gonna fly right. And even if you don't like something about our physics modeling, there's a good chance that in the future you will get a chance to override it. For example, we thought about adding God mode items of everything that are not necessarily realistic, but they let you override stuff. So if you're like a crazy smack pilot who runs like crazy RPMs and you think that our blades stall too early, you might get a chance to just select a set of blades that does not stall under any circumstances. I mean, VTX kind of do that, but the drag will go up quite a bit, so we might add God mode items soon.
And I did it.
Just
I mean,
a thought.
probably flight simulators, original Microsoft flight simulators before your time. But I remember when I was a kid, grabbing flight simulator and making these full-size Cessnas with stupid sized wings. Oh, I've just dropped my transmitter battery out of my radio. And making sometimes it's fun to make things completely stupid.
Oh yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
all in the fun of simulation.
Yeah, and these are gonna be shiny gold or something stupid to make absolutely clear that they're not intended to be realistic, but just to like blast away and just go beyond the limits of physics sometimes, because it's fun.
A little bit of unrealism, fantasy.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, it's the closest thing we can
Yeah.
give people to full access of the to the
Data
model
sets.
data, right?
Yeah.
So, so on Real Flight, I mean, you could go in there, or Phoenix, you could go in there, and there are all these like cryptic parameters, and you can achieve the same effect as what we would achieve with the God mode items, without having to understand what some of those parameters do.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's all about just trying to make the experience in the simulator as close to real life as we can in every way.
Yep.
Not just in the way it feels and the way it flies, but in the way you set it up as well.
What we're saying is we also do have these parameters you can set in Real Flight. Of course we do. Every sim
Yes.
pretty much has them because someone needs to set them up once. But we set them up for you in a way that they're realistic and work consistently. Not that you can, like, if we gave you full access to all the parameters the simulator has to offer,
It would be overwhelming.
So many things so quickly, yeah. It's just a matter of one parameter whether a model flies or not sometimes. So yeah, that is not an option. But God mode items seem like a reasonable choice. Would be fun. Should
I
do
agree.
that.
Well, is there any one last thing that either one of you guys want to say about the sim before we close this out?
Yeah, I mean, if you've got any questions, basically, just give us a shout. We pride ourselves on being very responsive on social media and via email. Emails typically get answered, depending on the time of day, in minutes generally, sometimes a couple of hours or a bit longer if it's night time in the UK. But yeah, I mean, I try. All of us try and get to communications as quick as possible. So if you do have any questions, or if you've bought the sim and you're not quite sure what you're doing with something or other, then just drop us an email. We're always here.
Yep. And what I also want to say is, of course, we're three AccuRC guys in this podcast right now. But I think we gave a pretty realistic picture on the sim, and I think that's really what I wanted to achieve here, because, like, we could say, oh, hey, it's the greatest sim in the world, and, I mean, it is, but still. So, we're not blowing stuff up here. What we told you is, I think we were pretty as close to reality as we could.
Don't listen to us, listen to the users. Just read around the forums and stuff about what our users are saying about it.
Yeah. And, well, yeah, do contact us. We are happy to talk to you. So, any more questions, shoot us an email, Facebook, whatever. We will be there to answer everything. Yeah, I think that's it for our pretty little sim here.
Ade, thank you very much for joining us today. It was a pleasure to have you, buddy.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure. It's been a while since I've done a podcast.
Yeah, no. It's been fun working with you for the last, almost a year or so, and it's great that you came to join us. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Well, you guys know the drill. We've got feed now, so anybody who wants it audio only, you can add it to your podcast apps just by using our FeedBurner app, and that's on our Facebook and in the description of the video. Come give us a like or a follow on Facebook if you haven't already. It's always nice to grow that community. Leave us a review or a post, anything. We'll get back to you. Always just like to have any of those conversations about flying helicopters or flying anything really that you want to fly. Thanks for joining us, guys. Bye.
See ya.